Hello and welcome to the Tryline Podcast. I'm by myself today. Denny's at fireman camp or something, but he'll be back on Monday. He did send in his tips with no context at all. I didn't ask him for any context. So he said Knights because Mike Maguire has gone insane. Manly because of Tommy Bra. Bulldogs because I'm going to tip them every week until they win. Bunnies because I don't like the Sharks. Roosters, but I want the Cowboys to win. Eels to stay undefeated for the rest of the year. Storm by 50. I did message him and say, half their team's out. And he goes, yeah, no worries, Storm by 50. And then the Panthers. So that's his tips. It'll roll us straight into our first question here from Matt Howard. What's my tips and some tips for some try scorers this week? My tips are the Knights, Manly, Raiders, Rabbits, Cowboys, Eels, Storm and Penrith. Denny also had Panthers 19.5, Kickow and Burton. He said to put your house on that. I think you've got to have Saab in there somewhere if you're going to throw together a try scorer multi this weekend. I think they look for him every time they make a break. They look for him. So I think Saab's a must. And a little bit of value. I like Corey Harawira-Naera against his old club. I think he might get one or two. So have a look at them. There's plenty of value this weekend. Magic round. Really excited for it. But this is the Q&A show. So let's get into all the questions from you guys. We had a ton of questions sent in. First one's from Zach. Right now, is Tommy the best fullback in the game? I think form-wise, it's a definite. I don't think there's a better fullback going around on form. I think Pappy's been out for a little minute now. He was the best fullback form-wise. James Tedesco is still the best in the comp, I think, but Tommy, he's unstoppable at the moment. It's really good to see. Andrew Backhouse has 3 questions, one of which was a formal apology from Denny for wearing a Panthers jersey. I will be seeking that apology and hopefully we can get that on Monday. I think it's disgraceful that he walked out here in a Panthers jersey. I think he owes all the Eels fans in Australia and around the world a reason and an explanation for why he would do something so tragic. Other than that, he says best youngster in the game. Now, we've got heaps of good young players, which is really good to see. I think we've got a good crop of young kids. Walsh, Schuster, Laurie, Sam Walker, I think they're all guns. But even a little bit older than that, you look at some 20, 21-year-olds. Payne Haas, I think Payne Haas is outstanding. He's already one of the premier props in the game. So the game's in a really good spot at the moment. I think you can't go past Sam Walker. What he's done for the Roosters has been outstanding. He's probably the best rookie. But there's plenty of good players coming through, which is good to see. Do I see the Panthers choking? This is also from Andrew. I think they're a different side this year, to be honest. I think they'll be able to handle the grand final a little bit better if they get there. I think Nathan Cleary is a better player this year than he was last year already. And they won't have to deal with probably the best player to ever play a game in Cameron Smith if they get there. So I can't see him choking. It's still hard to make a grand final. There's still a long way to go. You never know. Cleary could go down this week, so I'm not going to say they're going to win the grand final, but if they get there, I think they'll be able to get it done. Tommy Bra to centre or wing for Origin. Originally, I had him on the wing because I had Jack Wighton in the centres, but now, and I wanted Cleary and Luai in the halves. But right now, I think he needs to play centre. I think he needs to get a little bit closer to the ball. Now, I'm thinking that Wighton's in real danger of not making this squad because I've got Pappy in the 14. I've got Jerome Luai and Nathan Cleary in the halves. I've got Tommy as one centre, and I want Latrell as the other centre. So that kind of leaves Jack Wighton out of the side, and I think he either gets picked at 6 or he doesn't get picked in the side, in my opinion. I wouldn't mind him at 6. I said all off season I'd like to see him play 6 with Nathan Cleary. Now I think Luai and Cleary's the go, just they're on fire at the moment. But either Luai gets picked at 5'8" or he's not in the side for mine. Reed.
I didn't get that.
Oh,
could you try?
Siri heard what I was saying then. Do you see Cam Murray leaving? No, I don't. I think he's a very important player to South Sydney. I don't think you have to worry about it too much. He's signed to 2025, so they've kind of wrapped him up a little bit. I don't know what's going on with Reynolds. I think that's crazy. Surely there's still a chance of re-signing him. He's been at the club since he was a kid. He's bled for the club. Some people said that they want to bring in someone to win a grand final there. I mean, wasn't Reynolds in the side when they won the grand final? So I don't know. He's taken him to 3 prelims. Like, that's a lot better than some other halfbacks going around at the moment. Walker's off contract next year, so that's a big one for them. They want to probably get that one locked away. But Cam Murray, I can't see him leaving. Bailey, do you think there'll be any upsets this weekend? Now, I think the Cowboys are a big chance against an undermanned Roosters side. Every time I pick the Cowboys, they lose though. So I thought about picking the Roosters just so the Cowboys could keep winning, but I need my tips, man. I need some results. I'm sitting 20th. I need some results there. The Tigers are so inconsistent, but they're always a chance. It's hard to know what Tigers side you're going to get. They've already beaten the Knights this year, so they're a chance. If you get the best version of the Tigers show up, it'd be a really, really dangerous game for the Knights, but you just don't know what's going to come. And I hate Dewey to 6. I hate Dewey to the centres. I think Dewey's been one of their standouts all year. Him, Laurie, they've been 2 of their best players easily, and now they're moving him on, so I can't understand that. That leads straight into the Knights. Bailey asks, what's the Knights' chances this year? I think they got the team to really, really challenge the top sides. I don't think they can be consistent enough, and I think there's too many good sides in the comp to talk about them as a grand final threat. Right now, I think it's only Panthers, Storm, Eels, Rabbits, and you've got to keep the Roosters there. I think they've been outstanding. So I think they're the only 5 sides that can win the comp at the moment. The Knights have all the personnel there. I think they're really missing Pearce at the moment. But they are a really quality side, and Ponga's a really good player. I think they'll be fighting for the bottom of the 8, to be honest. Tyler, where to for Canberra? I don't know. I think Ricky's looking in the mirror and asking himself that every day. I think they're desperate for Nickel Klokstad to come back. Other than that, I don't really have a clue. It can't just be, they're having bad second halves. That can't be it. It's got to be something deeper than that. But I will say rugby league's a very funny game. So if they can come out, and they should come out and beat the Bulldogs, let's be serious. If they come out and lose to the Bulldogs, then they're in huge strife. They might as well just hand back in their NRL licence. But if they can come out and beat the Bulldogs and take a little bit of that pressure off this week at training, winning's fun. And when you win, it makes it easier, makes the week easier, makes everyone happy around the club. And then maybe if they can just win, they can build into the next week, and then string some together. They've still got a lot of quality down there, so they shouldn't be where they are, but I think they still make the 8. Is Taumalolo not in his best form? This is from Gallagher. Now, I'm going to say, he's only played 3 games, right? Only one of those games he's played over 40 minutes. And in that one game that he did play over 40 minutes, he was outstanding. So I think it's a minute issue, not a Taumalolo issue. I think when he gets in a game and he's allowed to play the way he wants to play, he's really, really good. Playing under 40 minutes, I don't really know what he's meant to do in those games. But so yeah, 3 games, only one game over 40 minutes, and in that game he was outstanding. So I think we're going to see the return of the long minute Taumalolo, the Taumalolo we all want to see. I can understand Todd Payton trying to preserve him for future years, but I mean, he's an NRL player. He wants to play the best footy he can now, so let him play. NRL Cloud says best NRL rivalries. Now, I found this question pretty hard. South Roosters is always one that will stand out. That's obviously a given. I like the little ones that pop up, like the ones that go for a couple of years. I think Manly and the Storm had one for a while. That was really good to see. Every time them 2 played, it was a must-watch. Even the Sharks and the Storm had one a few years ago for a couple of years there. That was always a good matchup as well. Cowboys-Broncos is another obvious one. It's not really played with a lot of hate. It's more played with respect, but they're always it's always a good game to watch. But yeah, that was a hard one. Roosters South is the one that stands out though. Aiden, where is Adam Reynolds going? It's a 2-part. Where is Adam Reynolds going, and how do we stop the ACL injuries? Firstly, Adam Reynolds, I think either the Sharks or the Broncos that was spoken about. I think his preference was to stay in Sydney, I heard a couple of weeks ago, but the way they were talking on NRL 360 the other night was that Brisbane are the front runners, so both teams need him, really. And as for the ACL injuries, I don't know. If I knew that, they'd probably employ me at the NRL. it's got to have something to do with the way they've sped up the game, but I don't know. I think if I was a betting man, I would say you'd go to the Sharks, to be honest. North Queensland had 2 questions. Who would you like to see become the face of the new Brisbane side? I reckon Munster. Munster would be a huge get. He's already proven himself at every single level. He's already really well liked in Queensland through the Queensland Maroons. So I think he would be a big one. I also think getting Cameron Smith involved in the club in some way. In coaching, front office, anything, you get him involved, and I think it's going to help with your recruitment a lot. Him, Wayne Bennett, and then you give the youngsters of Queensland an option other than the Broncos. Like, it's either go to the Broncos or come here and get kind of advised by some of the best players to ever play the game. So if Cameron Smith's there, I think that makes them a huge destination in Queensland. So I think get Cameron Smith involved, get Munster there, which would probably help get Munster there if Cameron Smith was involved. And then I think any one of the 3 teams that come in, I think they get Wayne Bennett anyway. So yeah, that's my thoughts. And he said, do you think Kyle Feldt is one of the most underrated players in the league? I've always rated him pretty highly. I do think he's underrated. I think we said it on the show on Monday. I think he's one of the most consistent finishers we've seen in the last 7-8 years. I think if there's ever a 50-50 chance of getting it done, he gets it done. So he's been an absolute gun for the Cowboys for a long time. Denny said the other day that he thinks he'll go down as the best winger the Cowboys have ever had. I think Matt Singh's got to be in that conversation as well, but he's definitely up there. And yeah, I think he's really good. He's definitely underrated. He hasn't played Origin yet, so that kind of lends to being underrated. I think for a lot of years it was out of him and Corey Oates, and if you go back and look, I think Kyle Feldt had a couple lean games always heading into Origin where Corey Oates kind of excelled. So I think that cost him a few years, but I don't know. Yeah, he is very good. I really, really like him. The Kyle Fieri Network, that's such a good name. Do you think the NRL should develop a trade and draft system similar to the NBA? Now, a draft system has been spoken about forever in the NRL. We already pretty much have a trade system. They do like a 1-for-1 deal already, so that's pretty much our trade system. But for the draft, now I don't know how it would work. I think it's a good idea, but say the Eels bring up a kid, right? They scout him when he's 13. They bring him up through their systems. They play Mats, SG Ball. They put a lot of money and time into this kid, and then he gets drafted number 1 in the draft by, say, the Bulldogs. What kind of compensation do the Eels get for that when they've spent 5 years developing this kid and putting all their resources into him, and then he gets drafted by a rival club and he never plays for the Eels? So that's what I think. Is that fair for the Eels? That's where I think it breaks down the draft system in the NRL. So I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to see. Tyler, with Ramsey and Ravalawa back, do they go straight back into their side? Ramsey might still miss this week with a rib injury. Ravalawa's back in the team. I think both of them get their spots back. Reed has 2 questions. What do you think of Nathan Brown re-signing with the Eels? I really, really like that move from the Eels. I think their forward pack has such a good balance between like skill and toughness. I think he's a big part of that. I know Denny was very, very excited for the Eels to keep Nathan Brown. I love what they're doing at the moment. I love their forward pack. It seems like they're being very smart in the market too. They bring in Opacek, they bring in Isaiah Papali'i, probably got both for unders, and then now they're just battening down the hatches. They're locking in Nathan Brown. They're in the coming weeks they should be locking in Mitchell Moses, and the club's in such a good place right now. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from the Eels. If you were the Warriors coach next year, would you play Reece Walsh at 6 and go after a fullback? I would try and sign Joey Manu to play fullback, and I would keep Reece Walsh at 6. I can't believe he's not in the starting team this week. I really like Harris Tafita, but you've got to find room for all 3 of them. I think when Reece Walsh played the Cowboys, he was the most dangerous player on the field by far, and I'd love to see him starting again. So I think he needs to start. Who's the fastest player in the league? I'd say Jason Saab, I reckon. Bring back the 100-metre sprint. Seriously, I don't know what we're doing. Like, imagine sitting there. I don't care when they do it. If they don't want to do it on grand final day, don't do it on grand final day. Do it around Origin. Make it a weekend. But imagine sitting there and seeing like Adokar, Saab, who else? Xavier Coates, seeing all them line up and actually seeing who the fastest in the NRL is. I think that's really, really cool. Warriors, a top 8 squad? Nah, not for me. They're not consistent enough. I think they'll be fighting for the bottom of the 8 with the Knights and the Titans, I think. Do the Warriors need to sign wingers? No, I don't think they do. I like Mamalo. I think Fuzatua, even though he's injured right now, he's really solid. And they've also got Montoya, who is also injured, but he's handy as well. So I think they're set for wingers when they're fit. Top 3 players and bottom 3 players. It's hard to say bottom 3 players. It's probably some fringe first graders that not many people know. But if you're in the NRL, you're in the top 0.5% of players in the country. So I think it's pretty insulting to say bottom 3 players, but top 3 players based on forms, probably Nathan Cleary, Ryan Papenhuyzen, and Tom Trbojevic. And what team did you follow growing up? The Cowboys. I've followed the Cowboys my whole life, probably since 03 or something. Can't even remember, but yeah, the Cowboys. And I played mostly 5'8". This guy said, what position did you play growing up as well? I played mostly 5'8", loved it. Played a bit of fullback, bit on the wing, bit of halfback. Didn't like halfback as much as 5'8". Liked a little bit of freedom out there, but yeah, that's about it. That's all the questions, guys. We will see you Monday. Denny will be back, and hopefully he will have an apology ready, because I think the Australian public deserves that. Other than that, make sure you check out all our other socials. I'll leave it in the link tree in the bio, and enjoy the footy. Magic round. Let's go.